British Airways 12,000 flight attendants are one step closer to striking after pay talks broke down. Cabin crew will meet today. They're going to decide their next steps. The question is, can they legally announce a strike? Well, they can legally announce a strike any time before Monday, but can BA really afford to let this happen? We're joined now by Aviation Financial Consulting analyst James Halstead. James, why, in your view, did these talks break down and, you know, they were deadlocked?
It's difficult to say what was happening behind closed doors, but it looks as if Unite didn't go quite as far in the total cost-saving package that British Airways wants to achieve, and we don't really know how much British Airways was willing to come forwards to meet them, but it certainly did not go anywhere as far as Willie wants.
Well, you know, the savings claimed by Unite is that their proposals were to save the BA £63 million. BA saying that actually that package fell significantly short of that. Now, a question that brings me is Willie Walsh, the chief executive, just hell-bent on beating this union somehow or the other?
Well, that may be one point to take. I mean, he took a very hard stance when he was doing the same thing at Aer Lingus, trying to get it into
he's got previous here, yeah.
Yes, and at least he knows what it's like to negotiate from both sides, having been on the pilots' union at Aer Lingus before he took over as management there. So he is a fairly tough man, and he got a pretty good idea of what he wants British Airways to look like.
But will British Airways look like a different animal if he does get the savings that he wants?
It will be, but it has to be, because the industry is changing, and the method of people's attitude towards flights and flying has changed dramatically, basically from the introduction of the low-cost services.
I can understand what you're saying from a low-cost perspective and a short-haul perspective, but when you're going long-haul, it's a different kettle of fish.
Well, the real problem is that they've got a mixture of the two. They are network carrier, and they have to provide for both sides. On the long haul, there is a question about whether we will get back up to the same level of premium traffic that we have had in previous peaks. And in each cycle, we come up with the same question: will we get back to the previous levels?
Yeah, even Qatar Airways said they're going to be removing first-class cabins from some of their planes, not all of them. BA is also doing some of that too, while introducing a new BA first-class product at the same time. So we are evolving, aren't we?
Yes, and what you see through the cycle is that the first-class gets, as the industry does well, the first-class services get better and better, and then the industry goes into a downturn, so they cut everything back again. It goes back to the more simple. It is all part of the cycle.
Let's just talk about how much this is going to cost BA, this strike, and, you know, the big question that we were doing the lead-up was, can BA afford this?
Well, in one sense, can they afford not to? They really do need to get the cost savings in, and they really do need to get the level of cost savings that probably Unite does not accept, which is, go back to where it fell down. How long is a piece of string? When do they give up and come back to the table and negotiate? That is the question that's going to be very difficult to answer. OK, Willie Walsh wants to also wet lease planes, wet lease crew, effectively, and have people volunteering to be cabin crew. Is this feasible? Well, it's been done in the past. The only trouble is that they will not be able to operate the total schedule, and there will be disruption. But at least they'll still be able to fly on the more important routes and for the more important customer. Right, very quickly, AA merger, confident? Yes. With the code-sharing agreement across the Atlantic, of course. 4 pairs of landing slots, I think they have to give up at Heathrow, don't they? It's a very, very weak concession they have to give. OK, thanks a lot for that, James. James Halstead there, he's from Aviation Financial Consulting.